Baseball has legends, home run kings, strikeout artists, but the stories that stick, they're the weird ones. Think about it. Anyone can throw 95. Not everyone whispers to the ball like it's a best friend. Not everyone brushes their teeth in the dugout. Not everyone invents 6 alter egos and gives post-game interviews as Tony Plush. That's what we're diving into. The players who didn't just play the game, they made the game feel different. Quirks so strange you wonder if it was genius or madness. Would talking to a baseball calm your nerves before a big test? Would hurdling a foul line actually make you pitch better? These guys didn't care. They made the weird part of the show, and fans loved it. Stadiums filled up not just to watch wins, but to watch antics, to see what bizarre move was coming next. This isn't a highlight reel of batting averages and ERA. This is every weird MLB player explained. Mark the Bird Friedrich, the ball whisperer. Mark Friedrich was not pitching. He was holding a conversation with the baseball out loud. He would stare at it, mumble instructions, then nod like the ball agreed. Who does that? The Bird did, and fans ate it up. He crouched and raked the mound with his bare hands until the dirt felt right. He aimed the ball like a dart. He strutted after every out like a headliner on Encore. If he did not like the ball, he tossed it back. This one has hits in it. Imagine a pitch clock in his ear. Would the Bird stop grooming the mound? Not a chance. The handshakes were a show on their own. After a slick play, he walked off the mound to shake his infielder's hand during the inning. Can you picture a modern ace doing that? Not happening. Yet, in 1976, it felt perfect. He started the All-Star game. He went 19-9 with a .234 ERA. He led the league in complete games. Tiger Stadium became a festival every time he started. 18 home games packed nearly half a season's crowd. People showed up to see a guy talk to leather, then watched him carve lineups. Was the weirdness the secret? Maybe. Talking to the ball and fixing dirt turned nerves into focus. He reset his brain by resetting the mound. Would you talk to a baseball before a job interview? You might. He made it look smart. Injuries cut him down fast. Shoulder trouble took away the magic. The legend never faded. Fans still tell stories about Monday night starts, about kids grabbing handfuls of dirt as souvenirs. The Bird made the game feel playful, tense, and human at the same time. From a pitcher whispering to baseballs, we go to a reliever who treated every inning like a 15-step ritual he was born to complete. Turk Wendell, the ultimate superstition machine. Turk Wendell lived inside a routine. 4 pieces of black licorice before every inning. Who chews licorice like it's fuel? Turk did. Then he brushed his teeth in the dugout between innings. Mint foam. Cameras rolling. No shame. Call it the cleanest slider in baseball. He spiked a rosin bag like he scored a touchdown. He waved to the center fielder before every warm-up pitch. He hurdled the foul line like it was hot lava. You would pay to watch a 6'3" reliever take a kangaroo hop before facing a cleanup hitter. Everyone did, and the details kept coming. He wore a necklace of animal teeth from hunting trips. He preferred contract numbers that ended in .99 because it felt lucky. He even wanted to wear 99 to match the bit. The strangest tell never failed. If an ump tossed him a ball, he let it hit him and drop. He wanted the ball to be rolled, not thrown. Was he trolling? Did he think it mattered? The answer was yes to both. The act calmed his mind. Then he attacked the zone. We built a fortress of habits. Focus. Pitchers need anchors. Same chew, same wave, same hop. Rituals turned chaos into comfort. Kids copied his foul line leap in the concourse. Broadcasters kept bingo cards for each Turkism. He turned dead time into entertainment. Would he survive the pitch clock? The licorice in the brush might eat his buffer. He would probably adapt. He found a way for a decade. The numbers say the show had substance. From superstition, we slide into split personalities. One uniform, many voices, all loud. Niger Morgan, also known as Tony Plush, the master of multiple personalities. Niger Morgan did not bring one player to the park. He brought a cast. Tony Plush was the star. Loud, third person, ready for the mic. Then there were the others. Tony Gumbo for business. Tony Hush for calm. Tony Tombstone in Western mode. Tony Clutch for big moments. Antonio Picante when spice was required. He snapped into characters like a sketch show with cleats. Pressers felt like improv. 1 minute Niger, the next minute Tony Plush shouting a catchphrase that lived on t-shirts. If post-game streams had been a thing, he would have owned them. He made team media days feel like a comedy bit that might turn serious without warning. On the field, he was chaos with wheels, hockey background, hard slides, forced plays at the plate. Sometimes it won games, sometimes it lit a fuse. He once spiked his glove after a miss and turned a routine play into an inside-the-park sprint for the other team. Managers aged a decade watching him chase a ball into the gap. Then he showed up in October and lined singles in big spots. Milwaukee remembers the walk-off in the division series. Tony Plush called game, and his city roared. Did the alter egos help? Pressure does strange things. If Plush took the heat, maybe Morgan could breathe. It looked messy from far away. Up close, it gave him a switch. He flipped it to find energy or calm on command. Would that fly today? Fans would clip every line. Opponents would seethe. The clicks would go wild. Bring 6 personalities to the park if you'd like. Let one of them run down a ball in the right center gap. From a one-man improv set, we head to a pitcher who mixed cosmic riffs and craft, and who fought for friends even when it cost him. Bill Spaceman Lee, the counterculture pitcher. Bill Lee talked in space and pitched like a professor who loved recess. He spoke openly about marijuana. He dropped Zen lines between scouting notes. He wore a gas mask as a prank. He walked out with a propeller beanie for a laugh. He carried an umbrella in the mound during a rain delay and called it practical. He said he beat Seattle without throwing over 42 miles per hour. You believed it because the delivery matched the story. Slow, boring to hit, cruel to swing through. He fought for teammates. When friends were mistreated, he skipped team photos. He called his manager Don Zimmer the designated gerbil. Clubs hated the line. Fans framed it. He blended philosophy and mechanics in the same breath. Gravity and spin, release and purpose. Then he broke down a hitter's hands with sharp reads that would fit any modern pitching lab. Would social media lift him or crush him? He would trend weekly. One for a quote, one for a prank, one for a complete game on 85 pitches. He pitched well into his later years in semi-pro games and barnstorming tours. He even stepped on a mound in his 70s and found the zone. He ran for office in Vermont and kept telling stories that made reporters smile and managers grind their teeth. The lesson lands clean. The show never drowned out the plan. He changed speeds. He lived on edges. He trusted strikes. Personality has a space. Command has the final word. Teach kids both. Be yourself, then hit the glove. From Spaceball and Stubborn Craft, we jump to a slugger who turned confession into a brand and chaos into headlines. Jose Canseco, the steroid evangelist and outrageous storyteller. Jose Canseco named the problem in capital letters. He wrote a book. He named names. He said what many only whispered. The pushback was loud. Then testing tightened. Numbers dipped. Voters froze. Training rooms changed. Like him or not, the message forced a reckoning that shaped the modern game. His life outside the box score kept the spotlight lit. Independent leagues, player coach gigs, boxing matches, odd exhibitions, tweets about aliens and time travel. It sounded wild. It kept cameras pointed. Then you remembered the player. Raw power to every seat. Speed early. A cannon in right. The famous blooper where a fly ball bounced off his head and over the wall. He laughed later and called it an assist. Few players would. He leaned into the bit, then launched 2 more the next night. How do you judge him? Separate theater from verified record. His words pushed policies forward. Without that shove, do we get the same timeline for stricter tests? Hard to say. The sport is better for having clear rules and real penalties. It took a noisy messenger to make quiet offices move. Ask yourself this: if his prime happened today, would he be the biggest star in the league or the biggest headache? The answer can be both. Fans love results. They also want trust. He sat at the center of that tension and never stopped talking. From loud truths and louder swings, we shift to awkward energy that won rings and turned dugouts into coffee shops with grass. Hunter Pence, the awkward energy machine. Hunter Pence looked like he was fighting a folding chair every time he swung. Elbows high, knees churning, throws from right that made coaches blink. Then the ball met barrel and shot into gaps. Then a sliding basket catch saved an inning. Awkward turned into art again and again. He was a heartbeat in San Francisco. The pregame speeches hit like espresso. Yes, yes, yes became ritual. Sunflower seeds flew. The dugout felt loose and locked in at once. Watch the 2012 and 2014 runs. His voice shows up before big innings. That is not coincidence. That is culture. The routes were not pretty. The catches landed in the glove anyway. He played through aches. He smiled through slumps. He rode a scooter to the park and waved to fans who held signs that joked about his quirks. Hunter Pence eats cereal with a fork. Hunter Pence hates Wi-Fi. He laughed, then lined a double off the wall. That is how you own a city. You take the joke, then take the game. Would you teach that swing? No. Would you teach that hunger? Every day. The mechanics were his. The mindset travels. Back your teammates, chase every ball, bring juice that lifts a room. Coaches can work with odd angles. They cannot teach that spark. He turned October at-bats into moments. He hit lasers that cut crowds in half. He talked about belief until you did not need earplugs, you needed a glove. Respect follows that mix. So do parades. From the Bird to Turk, from Tony Plush to Spaceman, from Canseco's Storm to Pence's Surge, baseball stays weird. That's the point, and there is more coming. You want knuckleball poets? You want human rain delays? You want closers who enter to theme music that rattles the press box? Stay locked in. Daniel Norris, the millionaire van dweller. Daniel Norris signed for millions and chose a 1978 Volkswagen Westfalia named Shaggy. No mansion, no chef, a van, a surf spot, and a French press on a camp stove. He worked part-time at outdoor gear shops in the off-season because he liked the rhythm. Stock a shelf, catch a wave, brew coffee. Read a dog-eared paperback with sand on the pages. That was the point. He said money did not buy the moments he valued. Dawn light, cold water, a clean board, and a quiet mind. He kept the van simple. A foam mattress, a small rack for boards, a cooler with groceries that fit a budget, not a brand deal. He learned every sound the old VW made and fixed what he could. If you hear a rattle, you learn to listen. That skill plays on the mound too. Listen, adjust, repeat. People ask the obvious, why live like that? He answered with a day. Wake up at first light. Climb a rock face for the view, drive a winding road toward a beach, throw a bullpen in a public park with a towel as a home plate. You can hear your breath when life is that quiet. Would you trade a smart fridge for a sunrise? He did, every time. Did it help his game? His body stayed lean, his mind stayed clean. He carried a minimalist approach into at-bats. Attack, trust the plan, move on. Fans love the contrast. A millionaire who could change his own oil and make a campground look like a postcard. If you value the simple things, he felt like proof that you can keep them and still chase the show. From stillness in a parking lot, we swing hard the other way. Noise, heat, a dugout that feared for its water cooler's life. Carlos Zambrano, the volcanic pitcher. Carlos Zambrano brought a storm. Big arm, big frame, bigger eruptions. He could shut down a lineup, then turn a Gatorade cooler into confetti. The bat over the knee after a strikeout is still a wild clip. You win a bar bet by asking who snapped lumber like a twig and kept walking. Big Z did. Teammates learned a weather report. If his fastball lived at the knees, the day was bright. If a call went sideways, clouds rolled in fast. Fights with opponents happened. Fights with teammates happened, including a dugout blow-up with Derek Lee that lived on every highlight show. Suspensions followed. Anger management courses followed. The Cubs tried to harness the fire. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it burned down the bench. Here's the hard part. The talent was real. Multiple all-star nods. A no-hitter. A switch-hitter pitcher who could rake a bit and pimp a home run like a corner outfielder. He had the body and the arsenal to pitch deep into games when that still mattered every week. He also had a fuse measured in inches. Can you lead a staff when every fifth day feels like walking on eggshells? Some clubs can, most cannot. Why tell you this story? Because emotion is power until it controls you. The mound magnifies everything. If you lose the handle on your breathing, the game speeds up and the world gets small. Could he have lasted longer with a calmer meter? Probably. Do you miss the raw theater when the league stands off every edge? Maybe. From a volcano in cleats, we shift to a master of precision who turned routine into art and timeless into a weapon. Ichiro Suzuki, the ritual master with the unique stance. Ichiro looked like no one else at the plate, knees angled in. Bat pointed at the pitcher like a metronome. Sleeve tug, glove lap, deep breath that matched a clock only he could hear. Then the first move, a small lean, a quiet coil, contact like a slap that carried farther than physics allowed. Was it style or science? With Ichiro, it was both. He called parts of his approach delay hitting, hold the moment, let the ball travel a whisper longer, beat the infield by a step that feels like a trick of light. His on-deck routine almost lied to the eyes. Loser, different posture, a reset for timing, not a preview. The real stance appeared only when the pitcher committed. It let him keep his internal watch clean while the world around him shouted for speed. Everything he did had intent. The sleeve tug was not a tick, it was a cue. The bat point was not a dare, it was alignment. He trained the way he played. Meticulous preparation. Narrow goals stacked into wide results. He chased 200 hits like a daily chore. He threw from right field with a line that would shave a blade of grass. He ran like a whisper and arrived like a bell. Could a young player copy him? Not the stance. The stance was a fingerprint. Copy the discipline. Copy the timing work. Copy the way he honored small edges. Ask yourself this. Do you treat a pre-pitch as seriously as a swing? He did. That's why grounders became singles and singles became rallies. Fans spotted him from the last row by silhouette alone. Broadcasters leaned back and kept quiet on line drives to the gap. Opponents guessed and still found leather late. He turned repetition into poetry and made a league of power respect a different path to damage. From a van on a cliff to a dugout on alert to a batter's box ritual that never wavered. The game stays weird and wonderful, and we're not done. More curious minds, more odd habits, more players who bent the sport into the shape that fit them. Craig Kimbrell, the human praying mantis. Craig Kimbrell does not stand on the mound. He coils. Feet set, hips hinged, left hand on the hip, right arm hanging out and slightly high, loose like a cable, head tilted, eyes locked. Every kid in the park copies it on command. Every hitter has to stare at it for one extra breath and wonder, when is the fire coming? The look was not a gimmick. Early in his big league run, he dealt with biceps tendonitis. Keeping the arm behind his back created tension. So he shifted the limb out and down to relax the shoulder, bleed off stress, and keep his balance. From that health tweak, a brand was born. Spider arms, Kimbrelling, pick your nickname, the effect stays the same. That pause feels longer when the arm hangs like a warning. Watch the sequence. He sets. He dangles the arm to calm the muscle. He draws the glove to the chest. Then the leg lifts and the spin starts. The fastball explodes at the top rail. The curveball falls off a table you can't see. Hitters know two shapes are coming. That does not help. You can hear the bat click late on 98. You can see the knee buckle on the breaker. Would you like to guess wrong in front of 40,000 people? Why does the stance work? It creates contrast. Stillness, then violence. Relaxation, then whip. The pose also buys attention. Catcher signs land with no rush. Breathing settles. Rhythm stays his, not yours. Closers need ownership of tempo. He takes it before he even throws. Fans turned it into a meme. Clubhouse pranksters freeze in the pose behind interviews. Little leaguers do it in team photos. Opponents copy it after a home run and risk a receipt in the next series. That is how you know a stance crossed over. It gets mocked and copied because everyone knows it at a glance. Could a young pitcher copy the whole thing? No. Copy the reason, not the pose. Find a setup that removes tension, gives you balance, and delivers repeatable timing. Kimbrell found his. It kept him healthy enough to rack saves for a decade. The look is fun. The lesson pays rent. One last thought. If a praying mantis stared you down from 60 feet 6 inches, would you swing? Most hitters do. They often regret it. Your turn. Which player here is the strangest in the best way? Would you rather watch the bird talk to a baseball or Kimbrel freeze a stadium with one pose? Which superstition beats Turk Wendell's foul line hop? Did we miss your favorite oddball? Drop the name and the reason. Want a part 2 with even weirder routines? Say the word and bring your picks.